Hey, it's Von Miller. I just landed in L.A. I'm a Los Angeles Ram. I'm ready to get to it. Let's go.
Producer Jack wants to know what it was like a sideways thumbs up, but I think
he was pointing with his thumb.
Yeah.
I think he was pointing with his thumb is what he was doing.
He looks very cold for coming from like Denver over to LA, but it's chilly there this time of year.
It's chilly in LA, yeah. I just kept the cold weather gear on.
Just keep your hoodie on.
Yeah, right.
Pete hates it. Okay, let's talk about Von Miller going from the Broncos to the Rams. Pete, we'll start with you because I haven't gotten a chance to talk to you about this yet. How do you feel about it?
I think it's a good move for the Rams. Look, they're going for it. They know it. They say it.
They tweeted out they're all in.
They're all in. That's the Les Snead. That's his style. That's what he wants to do. I understand it. He gives them another star on their defense, although he's not the same player he used to be. Let's be frank about that.
He's going to look pretty darn good, though, playing with Aaron Donald.
When they double Aaron Donald, he's going to get those one-on-one situations. You're not kidding.
But it's not like Leonard Floyd can't get it done, too.
Leonard Floyd has 6.5 sacks. They have 25 sacks on the season.
It's going to be a tough front for everyone in the NFC West to go up against, everyone in the NFC playoff picture. We can act like this is going to impact the Cardinals and Russell Wilson, all these other quarterbacks, and once Wilson's back. But Tom Brady and the Bucs have to be sitting there thinking to themselves, all right, our path just got a little bit more difficult now, too, trying to go through the NFC.
What about Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers, too.
Okay, let's not forget it. All the teams. But you're right.
True. I'm talking about the defending Super Bowl champs.
But to win in the NFC, you have to knock down Tom Brady. You have to knock down Aaron Rodgers. You got to contain Kyler Murray, right? So we keep going. Cowboys, Dak Prescott, when he's throwing the football around, you have to be good on defense, and this makes sense from that standpoint.
It's probably too soon to ask this question, but I am curious. Is this like maybe one of the last swings for a home run that Les Snead has in him? I mean, I know we talked about this kind of being their style, what they do. This worked and it got them to a Super Bowl. They didn't win it the last time they went #all in. But if you think about his track record as a general manager, I mean, his first year was the trade out of, number 2 for the RG3 King's Ransom with the Washington football team. And then they traded up to get Jared Goff. That didn't quite work out the way they wanted. They go all in to get to a Super Bowl. They get there, but that didn't quite work out. And now we've got this trade, and you look at next year's draft. They've got a compensatory third-round pick, a 5th, and 2 7s.
By the way, Les Snead has come a long way since I first met him. You know what he used to do? He was an intern in Jacksonville, and his job was to go pick up Andre Rison every day and make sure he got to practice on time.
Got to start somewhere.
Oh, he's good. And Les Snead's very good at what he does. So this is just proof that the cap is what you make of the cap. You can finagle the cap any way you want.
When you have a rich owner, like this is
right,
a
cash,
move you can
cash
make.
Over
cash over cap.
Yep.
And you can do that when you've got Stan Kroenke
Correct.
as your owner, and maybe he can dip into that Walton money a little bit too with that marriage. But that's what you can do when you're a rich organization with a rich owner.
Correct.
Not everyone's going to make these types of
like
moves.
the Raiders had problems with cash flow, and they couldn't make these kind of moves.
All right, guys, we are just about 8 minutes away from the trade deadline right now. That's one of the moves we saw. It didn't happen today. Pretty much the biggest one we saw so far today was Melvin Ingram going from the Steelers over to the Chiefs. Felt like he was getting unfair playing time when he was with the Steelers. Brady, what do you think about this move this morning?
Look, I think for a 6th-round pick, why not if you're the Chiefs? I mean, you probably do anything you can to try to improve that defense at this point. Yeah. And he's a guy that I think when you looked at the first 3 weeks of the season, had a sack, had, I think, 4 QB hits, was getting some pressures. And then in the third start versus, I believe it was Cincinnati, he got the start. That was his only start of the season. Didn't play great. And I think at that point in time, you're going, okay, is he just a situational player? What exactly is he? Can he be what we need him to be? And there's no reason to leave him on the roster if he's disgruntled and he's not getting the playing time he wants. Get something in exchange for him. The Chiefs could use him. This could be something that really, in my opinion, helps the Chiefs excel and maybe starts that snowball effect of this Chiefs defense now starting to become, I think, what they had hoped they were going to be a couple years ago.
Okay, a couple things. The Chiefs could have had him for a turkey sandwich in the free agency.
Then why did they offer him a 7th-round pick?
In the free agency, they didn't sign him. He was
why
there
did they offer him a
available.
7th-round
Well, that's
pick?
what I'm saying. I don't know.
Why was it a 6th-round pick?
Because they're desperate right now. They
Okay.
have 11 sacks.
Okay.
11. And their guys aren't getting to the quarterback. They thought Frank Clark would go back to being a good pass rusher. He hasn't. The experiment with Chris Jones was a disaster. He's back inside. Mike Dana leads them in sacks, and he's got some talent. He's a young player, but they need to get some sacks, and that's the whole idea. When you have 11 sacks on the season, and you watch their defense, my gosh, Daniel Sorensen stinks on the back end covering people, but it's hard to cover when you can't pressure the quarterback.
It's not that. It's you can't get more pressure if you don't have the ability to cover on the outside. Their secondary, cornerbacks in particular, and Sorensen in coverage has been so bad. that if you're calling blitzes, your concern is this might go to the house because we can't cover anyone on the back end. So you can't sacrifice them risking bringing more players to get those negative plays and sacks if you can't cover. So they can't cover, they can't bring pressure, and they can't just rush forward and get pressure. So this is a move to try to solve all of that.
They've had a lot of guys that they thought were going to go to the next level that haven't. L'Jarius Sneed, first and foremost.
Well, Frank Clark, what they gave up to get him.
Correct. There's another one.
Stands out the most of all of them.
I mean, like, Fenton's actually played well in the corner. Ward has not. That's a little bit of a surprise. So, Honey Badger hasn't played as well.
Sneed's taken a step back this year. He hasn't played as well as last year.
Sneed's not played well at all. I thought he was going to the next level, and he hasn't. So that's did they get fat and happy? They didn't win the Super Bowl, but they've been getting there. Did some of those guys get a little fat and happy?
All right, it's about 3:55 right now. We are walking you up to that trade deadline just about 5 minutes away at 4 Eastern. So that one, the Melvin Ingram thing we saw go down this morning, that's pretty much been it. Back on the 15th, it's been a while now. We saw Zach Ertz go from the Eagles over to the Cardinals. What have you thought, Pete, about him being there so far?
It works. Max Williams went down, so you needed a guy in the middle of the field, and it works. And we've seen him make plays in the passing game. My concern going forward is you have so many mouths to feed now. How do you feed them all? Because
I'm not worried about that.
No?
I'm more worried about their defense. I was saying, can he help fill in for the absence of J.J. Watt now? I mean,
they've only had one game without him, and they did play the Packers.
I understand. I'm saying moving forward, though, and especially the way Green Bay ran the football in that game, that's more of my concern. I think they missed J.J. Watt against the run, not necessarily so much against opposing quarterbacks. So clearly it helps their offense. The tight end position hasn't been one that Cliff Kingsbury utilized a bunch, whether he was at college at Texas Tech or even with the Arizona Cardinals. I remember talking to their tight ends coach Steve Hyden, who I played with, and I was like, what are you doing now? I was like, all you guys do is run out there 4 wide receivers and 1 running back. What do you got the tight ends on? You're coaching special teams now? But, they've started to incorporate that more because I think, Cliff's realized at this level it's all about mismatches. The tight end's one of the better mismatches you can create outside of talented wide receivers like they have. So he'll help them out. But I mean, look, maybe it helps them get rid of the football quicker when they got to go up against that pass rush.
Well, and that's the biggest concern with their offense right now is keeping Kyler Murray healthy. He's banged up again. He's always banged up. When he was banged up last year, their offense went right off the cliff. So that's the most important thing. You talk about defense, I get it, but it's keeping him healthy.
Protect him at all costs there. All right, Brady Quinn, Pete Prisco, thank you so much. It is 3:56 right now, just about 4 minutes to go until the trade deadline. Pete's checking his watch over there.
Trying to figure out what we're going to have at 4 o'clock.
I know. Here's what we're going to talk about coming up at 4 o'clock. If we see nothing happen, of course, we'll bring it to you. We're going to talk winners and losers because you guys like handing out those prizes, right?
We do.
There you go. That's next.
Not much to pick from.
No. Winner.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.